the apex predator, you know, and amongst these other people. Like, you know, they fear me. Naturally, they fear me. Naturally, they respect me. And I'm a very meek person. But, you know, when people see me, that, you know, they're not sure how to receive me.
You know what, brother? If I can interject,
go ahead.
If I can jump in there, because they know the power that relies in you.
Right.
See, we're humble and loving people at heart, and being created. God created us first. Man was created came out of the cradle, out of the dirt in Africa where life began. And so, if you understand, like when a baby come out of this womb, the baby is strong. Not only is the baby strong, but what the baby coming out of showing you that the connection they have. Like, in other words, the proof that we was created baby gods is that when you look at us, he couldn't put any other race or type of people in where the cradle of civilization started.
Right.
And so, coming forward thousands of years, that being broken up, we forgot who we are. So, yeah, we may be uncivilized at certain points, or we may be savages, or they may look at us like savages, but the average person and other people are really, not other people, but let's just say professors and people that study, they know our true history. They've been in those pyramids, and they know that the black man is the original man, and he's God. He's created from God. And so that's what they feared, because they know our potential. And so we don't know it. So like to reach back into what you were saying is like, reach back into what you were saying was when you say naturally, like we're the top, apex or predator, only because they know, our truths and we don't know it. And so I'm just trying to connect the two to show you, because this is perfect right now. With our organization, that's what we're striving to bring our people back to, our original being, our original form. So when we start knowing that we're great, not that we're going to go out and slaughter white people, but that, we'll start dealing and trading amongst ourselves like those people are doing in their communities.
Right.
And so forth.
How do they know when we don't know?
Simple, brother. It's a sword. I don't know if you ever seen this emblem, but I know you had to see it, because and everything everything is related to life, and everything that's supposed to be hitting right out in the plain is right out in the open. There's a sign that has a sword over a head, and you'll see it on Shriners. You'll see it on the Masons. They have it on their cars.
Okay.
And you'll see it's a sword over like the head of the Egyptian, basically.
Okay.
Well, that's the sword that the Shriners, usually your Shriners are judges, all top officials that run this world. And of course you got some black ones, but the majority is white. They drive in the little cars when you go to these little small country peanut parades in the South. They know who we are. And that's why the majority of them are judges, because their job is to kill, lie, and destroy and put us away. Because they knew when those professors went back in the 1940s and 30s in those pyramids, they found out the truth, and it's written on the wall. They found out the key to life, like the ark. When you see these arcs all over the place, like the crosses. Before the crosses was the ark. And so those arcs is the woman's womb, and not just the woman, but the first woman that God, created us from, that baby in that womb right there. And so, and that's the key to life. If you notice, it hangs almost like like a key. Well, long story short, going back to your question, you was like, how do we know?
How do they know?
How do they know? Because
like
I said, those Shriners and those professors, all those people that was privy to a higher learning, and we wasn't, they had the money and they had the capability of going to all of these places, these rich places in Africa, where they get all the diamonds and rubies and everything, and just show us that, Africa ugly, you don't want to go there. That's the greatest salesman's pitch. To this day, I'm about to make a trip to Africa. What you want to go over there for?
Right.
They eat people.
Right.
Then why the hell y'all's over there?
Right.
Where do diamonds come from?
Right.
So it's so.
Africa's very low on my list of places that I want to go. I can admit that. Like, I can't think of a place where I'd like to, but I just think the whole continent is jungle, and
Oh my brother, I can't believe that, yo. Because and not to say that you're not, but you're intelligent, brother. But you know what too? See, that's part of the lie. If you knew how beautiful it was,
right?
If you knew how great you are,
right?
You would want to. One of the things I talk about is, damn, I'm sorry I got all this information at 50 years old. I wish I had your youth. I wish I had your mind, your body, but knowing what I know now, because I was there, and it's not your fault, and it's not even your parents' fault. See, I'm doing what my father done unconsciously. My father was in the Air Force, so he really was about that flag because they took care of his 8 children and his wife,
right?
Which he died with. He didn't go fooling around and this and that. Of course, all men may do a little something, but he stayed with my mother to the death. He raised all 8 of us, all of us still alive. That says a lot, for a man that worked. My mother didn't work; she watched us. So getting back to your point is that one of the things I wish is that I had youth right now, and I'm just about to make this trip. And I said nothing's going to get in my way this trip, because when you know how beautiful, when you know how beautiful you are, that's why I'm going back to the organization. I could bring back the organization. I know what we're capable of. When you look at the Nation of Islam, oh my goodness, that's a beautiful. Man is not perfect, so anything that we touch is going to have its impurities and its dysfunction and its misunderstandings. But for the most part, when you see what the Nation of Islam done for black men that was locked up, murderers, rapists, dope addicts, drunks,
right?
These brothers is upright, stand upright. They don't bow, they don't look down at the floor when they're dealing with so-called strong white people or white people that's supposed to be in charge. They deal with them on a man's level, and that they fear them. They don't play with them. And so this, just the same way they see those brothers, they see you. They see us. But only when we open our minds and act a certain way, then they see where they can get over, and they be like, we got another one.
Right.
Only for a certain time, because everything has its time.
Now, originally, we was going in a direction that, what is the connection between One Voice, One People and the Zulus?
Oh, okay. I'm glad you keep me on track, man. You're a good interviewer, brother. Because I'll go so many places. My mind be traveling, brother. It's so much information, but it's so much love for our people.
Right.
The correlation between the two is I always say at the beginning when I talk about the organization, I always say organization / family. Right. Because this is a movement, and anytime you have a movement, it's a family. When they have a mass movement or a mass merge or something, it's always like, relatives, aunts, uncles, cousins, whatever. And so we're all related in some shape or form coming from Africa. I did this, I did my DNA test with Ancestry.com.
Really?
Oh, yeah. And so it linked me. That's another reason why I don't go back. I had to take my ancestors. This has been a journey for me. But I did the DNA test, and it linked me to Central Africa. And so I was like, wow. And that's what I was looking for. Well, when I first started, I just built my family tree. And I wanted to see, what relatives I have. Because, I'll tell you this funny story. If you want me to stay on track, let me know. I can go there later.
Let me hear the story.
Funny story, being from New York, we had this thing, me and my wife, because we both from New York. And so, we had this thing, when we moved here, I didn't know anybody from North Carolina. And it was kind of a culture shock, kind of different, And so we had this thing, like, as we began, we spending years and years here, we had this thing where, you country, just a little joke. Right. Because that's how we do. And I'm going to show you how I'm gonna show you how the masses tricked us again with that example. But anyways, real quick, we joke, you country. You getting country, girl. You need to go back home for a little minute. You need to go back up to New York. And so one time we were really talking. I said, babe, you know what? I don't know anybody, from North Carolina, and all of my relatives, as far as I knew, was just like first-hand cousins in Washington D.C. That was the furthest I knew my family went. And my mother couldn't tell me anything about her parents. So that's what started me on building this family tree. Because I only knew a handful of people. And we was always living up in New York, away from everybody. So I found out my grandfather came from North Carolina. So guess what? Now my wife is like, I told you he was coming. You know what I'm saying? And I couldn't deny it. Right. So, but going back though, yeah. So my father, my grandfather, and my grandmother, they came from Granville, North Carolina, and I went there. I saw the graves, and I just like going stepping back in history because it wasn't that touch. It's a small town, and it's going north from here, just adjacent to Virginia borderline.
Okay.
But it's a beautiful place, man, and it has rich history there. And so I've been on this journey, Ancestry.com, plus, just being, vast with different cultures coming from New York. But I did want to make another example how they split up the black people and they use all little type of tricks. Mm-hmm. And I'm pretty sure Southern guys, or country, not gonna say country, but guys from the South had this thing with. Yeah, them Northerners, they think they slick. Them New Yorkers,
right?
They look at them fast talkers,
right? When
in our reality, we all made up the same thing. The brothers from the South, their game was just a little slicker. It was just, I ain't gonna say slicker, but it was just a little. It was easy to digest because let me hold the door for you. But he doing the same thing your brothers doing in New York. Yo, I'm gonna see you. I'm gonna see that sister.
Right.
He holding the door.
Right. He's still holding the door.
I'm holding the door so I can see that sister.
Right.
He just got a different way of going about it.
Right.
And I saw that, and it was smooth. But what I say is that they even had us hating each other. One from the north, one from the south.
Of course.
Man, that brother country, man, you think he's slick. He's from New York. And to this day, we could almost barely get together. We kicking it. We kick it, but we're not like
right. Not at all.
You know what I'm saying? Like another brother from the south. Like if it's two brothers from the south and one from the north, those two are like
right,
and vice versa. But that's what we here to crush. All of those stereotypes, and not only that, people are waking up on their own. We just give them the format. We just give them the place to say, you know what? Welcome home, brother. Welcome home, sister. And we want you. We love you. We want you. This is home. This is family. Come home. Let's make this bigger. Let's build and go out there and get the rest of our family.
Okay. So, how can anybody who's listening to this, how can they help support the cause?
First and foremost, by being a part of. Ain't nothing like making change. And starting from the grassroots, nothing like having a baby and seeing the baby grow. Anybody could jump in, when it's 5, 10 million or 1,000 and 2,000 and they got a little name and a little following.
Right.
Everybody want to come. But at the grassroots, at the beginning, be a part of it and seeing it grow. I mean, I just think it's awesome. I think that's the best thing to do. And not only that, because it's something so first of all, it's humbling to give back. I'll give my last, if I see someone else don't have, or my brother, like I was telling one of my partners, I can sit back and relax and chill, but if my brother ain't able to do that, I'm not really supposed to do that. That's my mentality.
Okay.
So I want us to all be able to sit back and, and relax.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd rather not support you sitting back and relaxing.
Absolutely.
But I do want you to be in a position to do whatever, it feels good for yourself. Mm-hmm. I'd love to help you get into a position where you're doing that for yourself. Now, how can they get if they're listening, they're like, well, I do want to become a part of it.
Okay.
What would they
And so like I was saying, I'm sorry that I got distracted a little bit, but so I know everybody's not going to come aboard, but I will hope and pray that they would, because, like I said, this is about